guys, Mary here, and I'm really excited about Valentine's right now, and I'm super excited about how my heart-shaped boxes came out. They're totally exactly how I wanted them to come out, with like the bigger heart on the top and on the bottom, so that they really are like a classic heart-shaped candy box that you might get. So these are really fun to fill up with chocolates or truffles, or in my case, Hershey Kisses. So you can't really go wrong with chocolate in my book, but I also think it's fun to give like non-candy treats too. So I wanted to make some bigger heart-shaped boxes. And these two actually go together, like this one perfectly fits on top of this heart here, or they work separately, whatever floats your boat. But for this little one, I put inside some gloves that I picked up at Target, which are red, and I thought that was a fun idea. I also got some Valentine's boxers, and I got some Valentine's socks, which is a fun, nice little gift. So these boxes go together pretty easy, which I'm going to show you in just a minute here. So on this small box, this brown heart in the background is actually just one long piece, which is right here, and it gets folded. It's already scored. I'm going to show you how that works, and also how the whole heart box goes together. It's a lot easier than you would think. This little candy box is perfect for putting some cute candy in that you can see through the window. Super easy to do. It's just one piece, so I'll also show you how that goes together. So this little album that I've put together would make a really cool gift for just about anyone that you think would appreciate it in your family or friends. So since my paper is so crazy, I used black and white pictures just because I thought if I used color it might be a little too much going on. And the cool thing about cutting out the pictures is that I've made this easy way for your machine to do it, which I'm going to show you here in just a little bit. But some of the pictures are just plain 4x6 or 4x4 and 4x6s like these, so you don't have to use your machine to cut them out. But it's really fun to put together. It makes an awesome gift or like a keepsake for your family. And if you wanted to add some more pages, you could do some more of the last page and throw some more pictures in there too. So also, one little bonus that comes in your download is this cute little penance banner, which is really simple. It's just a heart with 2 holes in each heart, and it's really cute if you cut it out of coordinating papers, and it's just like a really quick, super cute decoration. So for all these cute little stamps that I used in this kit, I also included shapes that fit the stamps perfectly. And the stamps are from this new Valentine's stamp set called All You Need Is Love over at Pumpkin Patch Stamps. So that's a little fun bonus that you get in your kit if you have that stamp set. Totally optional, but it definitely adds a nice touch. So I've got some pieces cut out for some stuff to show you how it goes together. So let's sit down and get started. So first, let's put together the lid of this box, and the lid and the bottom are almost identical, just the lid is obviously a little bit larger than the bottom of the box is, and it's also the same as these other 2 heart-shaped boxes. So I'm just going to show you the lid here, but this applies to all 3 of the boxes. So here are all the pieces for the base of my lid, and I've got 2 smaller hearts and 3 larger hearts here. And then I've got these 2 funky looking side pieces. I've got one of my side pieces here, and on one end of it, it's got this nice little tab here, which I'm going to put some glue on. A little too much there, but that's okay. And then I'm going to glue that to the other side piece here. I'm just going to put that right on there and line it up, and just hold it while it dries. Wipe off the excess glue that I got going here. And then I'm just going to flip it around and do the same thing on the other side and close it up. And the more accurate you can be, the better. So there we go. Now we can go trap an animal in the woods. Just kidding. Okay. So next you want to fold over all these triangles here. And they're already scored, so that should be pretty easy. And as you'll see, on one end, on one seam down here, the triangles are a lot smaller than on this end, where on this seam the triangles are a lot bigger down here. So where the triangles are bigger is the bottom of your heart. And there's also a diagram in your PDF, but You don't even really need to check that out. It's pretty easy. So first, I'm going to take my 3 larger hearts and set those aside. And then I've got 2 smaller ones left. One of them is a little bit smaller than the other one. So I'm going to take the smaller one and set that aside. That's the liner that's going to go in at the end. And I'm left with this one. So first I'm going to put the bottom of it here on one of these bottom tabs. And just put a nice thin, even layer of glue out to the corners. And just put it in place here with the bottom corner, touching the bottom corner, and hold it in place while it dries. And you want to be as accurate as possible so that you have enough space as you make your way around. But if it's not completely perfect, it's okay, because as you can see here, it's kind of going to be hidden by these larger hearts. So let's swap sides and do the same thing on the other side. Just a nice thin, even layer of glue. And hold that while it dries. If you need, you can flip it over and press it down. And make sure it's lined up as close to the edge as possible. Just, you want the corner, the corner of the paper right on the edge of the heart. So I've got my 2 bottom tabs glued down. Now I'm going to do this one next and then alternate. I want to alternate sides just to make it as even as possible. And I'm going to slowly take my time and work my way around all the way up here to the top. So I'm just going to repeat what I did before and do a nice thin layer of glue on each triangle, just one at a time, and line it up real nice and push it down while it dries, and then go to the opposite side and do the next one on the opposite side. And that gives this one a little time to dry before we move on to its neighbor over there. So just work your way all the way around towards the top. Okay, so I've got a lot of my tabs glued up these 2 sides here, and since I'm getting kind of close to the top, it's time to start kind of training this piece to start going this way. But if it pops out, that's okay, but just keep making your way around until you get to the top up here. So here is my heart box, and all my tabs are glued down, and they met up just perfectly because I put each of the edges right up along the edge of the heart. So now, to cover all these up and to sort of flatten everything out on the bottom, I'm going to glue this liner piece down in here, and then I'm going to take my 3 larger hearts. I'm going to glue them on top of each other carefully, being sure that they're all glued perfectly on top of one another, and then I'm going to glue this piece right into the center, and that'll form this piece like this. So that's the same for all the boxes. So for this brown heart that you see back here, I wanted to do something a little different than just a regular flat heart. So I've got this heart here, which is already scored. Your machine does the scoring, and it just folds up like this to form kind of a funky little folded heart. So you're just going to put glue, you're just going to glue each part of it down underneath each little flap. And something fun that I did, if you have any embossing folders that are like the long strips, I did some long strip embossing on each of those things, which is pretty cool. So here is my cute little candy box, and the box for it is just all one piece. It's super easy. We're just going to put some glue on this side tab, glue that in place, and then fold over these bottom pieces and glue this onto the bottom. And then these you don't glue down, you just leave it so that you can tuck it into place. But actually before you do that, you want to put your plastic on the inside. And on your PDF it says the exact dimensions for your rectangle, or you can just grab your plastic and just kind of eyeball it. The plastic that I'm using is just some sheet protectors that I got at the office supply store, and I cut them up. I've been cutting them up so they're all in crazy shapes, but I would just like kind of eyeball it and just take my scissors and just cut around, then just put some glue and glue it in place. Then you can go ahead and put your box together and embellish it with your little heart and a stamp or whatever. So for my little mini album here, each of the pages actually feels like chipboard, but it is just several layers of paper glued together on top of each other, which totally gives the same effect as chipboard. So if you are comfortable cutting chipboard and you've done it and you want to go that way, you totally can. But I just haven't had the greatest luck cutting chipboard, so I wanted to make it simple so that everyone could do it too. So that's how I did it. And as far as cutting the pictures, these square ones, that's just 4x4, so that's pretty easy to just crop, you know, with a paper trimmer. But for this nice oval shaped picture, I'm going to show you how to take this cute picture and your photo template here. So step 1, cut out your photo template, and I've got my oval one here. So I'm going to take my picture. I've just got a cute little 4x6 here, and I want to make sure that it's, you know, completely inside the frame wherever I want it. Like if I wanted it to be tilted, I could, but I just want this one to be straight up and down. So I'm going to hold it where I want it. Then I'm going to take my photo template and I'm going to match up the corner of it with the very, very corner of my mat, and I'm going to place it so that the edge of it goes along this line here, and I'm going to push my photo down, but I'm going to remove my photo template. So now my photo is exactly where I want it to be on my mat. So that was just my oval template, but the same process also applies to your heart template and your square, your rectangle, and your small circle. So it's really cool because your machine does the cutting for you and your picture comes out the perfect size. So let's take a look at the software. Okay, so I've got my SureCuts-A-Lot open, and I'm going to import an SVG, which I have on my desktop. It's called Oval. And I want to do the same thing and line it up exactly perfectly up there in the corner, right here where these dotted lines are, which I can also do by going over here and clicking this align over here and this vertical align, which aligns it up there. So now I'm going to select it, and I want to delete this outer rectangle, but I want to leave the oval in place. So I'm going to go to Object, Break Apart, which breaks this shape apart into 2 pieces. That way I can select the rectangle and press delete on my keyboard, leaving just the oval. So now my picture's in the right place on my mat. I can go ahead and just click cut. So I pressed cut and I let my machine cut it out, and it cut it exactly where I wanted it to. Maybe I should have turned my pressure on my machine up just a tiny bit, but that's okay, it still worked. And there's my perfect photo. So those are all my super fun projects. I hope you had fun watching, and if you make any of these, I would love to see a picture of it. And don't forget, you could also make them in white and cream for weddings. That would be super cute too. So happy crafting, and I'll see you next time.